Good morning, everybody. We're going to keep this muted as it's just a quick training. We will answer questions as they pop up in the chat. But today we're going to cover AI in auctions, quite simply focusing on priming and prompting. Most people don't know what that is, and you're 99% of people have never done an AI prompt or know how to write one. So we're going to cover that today. We'll start out with kind of the basics of AI, so focusing on the LLM or large language model. So that out there, think of that as like a library of all the information in the world, right? And then below that, below the LLM, you're going to have what's called parameters. So think of parameters as like books in that library. So you have the largest library in the world. You have all the books that you could think of, right, out there in the world. And then below that, you have what's called tokens, and think of tokens as words. So when you use ChatGPT or Perplexity or any of these other models, on the free version, you're allowed up to 2,000 tokens or words. So when you go beyond that and you're using AI to describe photos or whatnot, or to write your English paper or whatever you use it for, once it exceeds those 2,000 words, it's going to start to what is called hallucinate. So it might sound really good the first time you use it, it's really accurate, it's really what you want, and then come 2,000 words later, it's like it's drunk, or it doesn't know what to respond with. So it just gives a confused response. That's called hallucination. So the free version, it's going to get you a little bit back each month, but after that you want to kind of take it a step further. And then when you think about AI and what it does, take two numbers and add them, 5 plus 6. 5 plus 6 in your mind, you would probably give a quick answer back of 11. So that is what is called your work product. You've come up with a solution very quick, you can spit it out. The work product is also what AI returns. And so a lot of folks think of using AI to return quick responses to their work is cheating, and it's really just a tool, right? And so to ignore the fact that there is this massive tool out there to make our lives and our jobs easier than before is silly. Like, why would you ignore Google searches? Most of us don't ignore that now. It's the same concept. So it's just a better Google search that we've put together, collectively as humankind, called artificial intelligence. So going through that, AI in auctions, the number one question and concern and kickback is it's not accurate enough. AI is not accurate enough. And so that's really what today is about, is focusing on, is AI not accurate, or is the input not accurate? And this is all about the input not being accurate, because AI, today, if you think of the LLM as the library and you think of the parameters as the books, AI's read over 2.2 trillion books as of today. It might be more than that, right? So it knows more than everyone that you know put together by far. So it's a very, very intelligent system. It's just, how do you pull the data out of it in a manner that's going to be successful for you and going to be accurate for you and going to be what you want as an auctioneer in terms of a better title, a better description, a better way to describe photos and products in the system at a clip that is, umpteen million times higher than your best cataloger. Even if you take into consideration the finest art appraisers in the world, they're putting their information out on the web. So it can be found, it is found. It's just a matter of, have the products that you're touching ever been on the internet before? That's a good problem that AI can solve. If it's never been out there before, no one has ever seen this item, that makes a problem for AI. So you can break it, and if you want it to work or you don't want it to work, either way, you're going to be right. So if you can look at, done is better than perfect as a theme here, I think you can take your business and ultimately ramp up the output, lower overhead, boost your team's performance, make them better, more intelligent catalogers, more valuable employees wherever they land at the same time. So we're not trying to eliminate people, we're trying to give people better tools. So if you look at any corporate employer, you go through their training and they talk about, quotes, and they talk about communications to customers, and they talk about, CRMs. In that conversation is AI now. It's not being avoided, because the biggest companies in the world understand that AI is not going anywhere. It's the smartest tool that we've ever had as humankind. And to understand it, learn it, and use it just makes you better. It just makes you faster, it makes you better. It's going to make you a stronger outfit. So that being said, there's two concepts we'll cover today, and then we will keep going on with this conversation. We're going to do more thorough trainings in May 5th, is when we'll start doing more concise explanations as to deeper dives into AI. But today is all about priming and prompting. So I'll share my screen with you as we go through that. But first and foremost, just an explanation of what is priming and what is prompting is really at the heart of the discussion. So if you think about priming is you give it initial context or instructions to influence the output, right? So it's like a preliminary stage for AI to respond to. So if you think of it, it's feeding a set of instructions or a context to the AI model before it starts generating responses. So the prompt and prime both here influence the AI's behavior and guides the type of responses. So if you prime it with, I am an auctioneer, I am focused on estate sales, for example, and I want you to look up estate sales in the United States in the last 24 months, looking at the highest hammer prices across the country, and come back with a strong prompt for me to generate the descriptions and titles that mimic those listings. Boom, it's going to come back with here's how we would tell AI to write that. So that's priming it. You're really getting it fueled up, ready to go. You're telling it, the context of why you want information returned. So that's what we refer to as priming. So if you're priming the system, you're telling it a little bit about yourself, painting a picture, once to your staff, you could just say. So this is prepping your staff with the best possible tool to be the smartest employees that they can be for the needs that you have. So as you go through priming, you're going through the buildup of what's to come. Once you have your priming built and it returns some information, then you dive deeper into more of the prompting. So the prompting it's instructing an AI model to generate a specific output or response. So if you think of it like, I want it X, Y, Z, I want bullet points, or I want, a brand, type, size, color, weight, dimensions. Those are where you get more into the prompting side of things. So it gets very specific in the prompting area. So that gives you an idea of the difference between priming and prompting. Priming is telling it a little bit about why you're going at what you are, and then priming is telling it, do this based on my prime. So those two things put together can really help to generate a powerful tone, is what we call it at Listernaut, but you can create a prompt that will be able to be used over and over. So once you create your prime and then tie it to creating a prompt, it's going to spit out an example or a final version of what to use for your prompting. And so prompting is just a way to say, describe photos of estate sale items in my prime above as, including weight, dimension, size, color, brand, type, price, whatever you want it to spit out. And then it's going to write it in a tone, if you will, concise for AI descriptions. So that's really where, we differentiate our computer vision from others, because you can send a picture to Google Lens, it's going to give you a response. You can send it to another platform and pick a generic tone, it's going to give you their tone. But when you understand priming and prompting, now we're getting into a very specific, customized AI bot for you. And it allows you to create your own voice, your own tone that will describe your photos in a manner that is exacting to your specifications, right? So this is where, how accurate is AI? It's as accurate as you want to force it to be. So if you prime it and you prompt it and you come up with good solutions and you test it and you get down to the nitty gritty, you spend an hour or so going through this, you will have the most powerful tool to catalog products that you've ever seen. It's going to give you a unfallible response every time. No misspellings. It's always going to be concise. It's going to be uniform across your listings. No grammatical errors. You can tell it to write for search engine optimization. All these things are, what you need to think about when you're going in and creating primes and prompts to describe your photos. And once you do that, there's a number of tools out there that can help, specific to Listernaut. You plug that in and it will always describe your photos that way. So that's where we like to think, we're a little ahead of the curve in the computer vision world, because we do allow that. Now you can do it also in GPT, you can do it in Perplexity. You can always save your prompt once it's complete and throw it in there and say, describe this photo, describe this photo, describe this photo, and it will do it the same way. So it's not, it's not something that Listernaut owns. It's not something that we've invented. It's more or less, how to use AI. This is a generic how to use AI conversation, but it does have real results for auctioneers looking to cut their time on figuring out what things are, finding out what products are. So that being said, the only other tool that's extremely important to being accurate is, again, a human issue, right? Humans got to do prompting and priming right, or it just spews out whatever it thinks. Second is the photography. So if the photography is bad, it's bad in, it's going to be bad out. So blurry photos, pictures that don't include pertinent details of the products. AI doesn't guess, right? It's at all the books. It just writes what it knows. So when you look at a picture of a cell phone, for example, and you don't turn it on, get the settings, get the details on the phone, it's going to guess at what kind of phone that is, and it's always right in its mind. So folks have said, could you do, more of like a good, better, best, a range of how right AI thinks it is? And my response to that is always, well, that's logical reasoning, and AI is not a human being. So AI does not have logical reasoning. So if it returns a result, it is 100% certain that that's the result. You can ask it to do it again, and then it's 100% certain again. So it's almost like a savant in the fact that it's 100% accurate. It knows it's right. So what you put into it is what you get out. So the accuracy of AI isn't really the question. It's the accuracy of the effort taken to get it going. So if you think of like Abraham Lincoln, he spent all day sharpening his axe because it made cutting the tree down that much faster. If you take time to create your primes, your prompts, your photography in a manner that is, better prompted, it's going to make your work so much faster and easier after the fact, and it's going to be uniform, and it's going to be the way that you want it, and it's going to be a way that human beings couldn't possibly do as consistently and uniform across the board, because we all make mistakes. We forget the size of the shoes sometimes. We forget the size of the shirt. We forget, the make or the model of that equipment. We forget to snap the hour meter. So AI is as accurate as the human being putting the information in. So hopefully that helps to give you an idea of what the tools are, how they work, and how to take advantage of them. And the fact that you're watching this just shows you're an early adopter to AI technology, which is good, because if you don't adopt it over time, it's going to disrupt not only the auction industry, but the e-commerce and every other industry for that matter. And if you think about, if you research what is the #1 job AI will replace, it's data entry, and so data entry is something that human beings, they peck and type, search and peck on the keyboard to get a good description of a product. Whereas, if you use AI to do that instantly, It saves you the time that it takes a human being to type out what it is, fix their errors. Whoops, I did it in all caps. All the things that we all do. It's not, no one's perfect here, and that's human error. So focusing on how to use the machine to produce better results is really what this is. So if you think about, any manufacturing shop, they have machines in place to make the job easier. A human could probably do it better. I could sit there and say a human cut diamond is better than a machine cut diamond because it's artistry, right? And that's probably right. But the human cut diamond value doesn't even compare to machine cut diamonds output. So you can say, I did one diamond, it's magnificent, it's $1 million, and it's 3 carats, and yes, but the machine pumped out $30 million worth of diamonds in the same time frame, or 300 millions for all that matter. So if you think about it that way, you're just tuning a machine to improve your business like every other business since the industrial age has done. And so this is our tool, our generation's tool to put something in place that makes our business sustainable, that it makes it more efficient, that it's going to cut down on your time. It's really going to give you the tools that you need to go further. So if you have AI in place, it does allow you a certain set of tools that you can't possibly do without it. So from this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, show you kind of a prompting and priming on ChatGPT to give you a sense of how we arrive to what we call an AI tone. So here we are in ChatGPT. What we're going to do now is what are referred to as priming, and I'll send this out to everyone after the call so you have a full view of what we're talking about. Priming is essentially, I am an auctioneer specializing in estate sales, we'll just say. Please review estate sale auctions over the last 24 months and provide me a prompt that describes the top 10% of hammer price sales. So we'll let that jump in, and that's going to start to think about what the prime is here. So as we go through this is going to give us a kickback of, here's what we think you should do. So we're priming it to give us some information back. It's going to dive through and give us some information here. So this process can take you a little while to get down. But once you do it, and once you get your prompt set, you just copy that and then, hey, describe this photo with this prompt. So it will allow you to save it and then use it over and over again. So here's what it's coming down to. It's considering the following option: discover a curated selection of distinguished items from notable estates, blah, blah, blah. So that's what it thinks the response should be for what we're talking about, for high value estate items. Now, write an AI prompt to describe photos of estate sale items using the priming above. And this is a very truncated short version of how to do this. We will cover more in our training series starting in May 5th, but this is essentially what you want to get into to describe your photos, and you can just dump them into AI once you're done with this. So here's 3 different example variations you can feed into AI. From here, you can just pick one, make it better, make it stronger. So you can take, for example, we could take this, drop that here, customize this AI prompt. item type. So as we work through this, it does take time. As I said, you're working toward a all-inclusive directive for your team forever, right? So don't rush this. You can't rush greatness, right? You want to slow down to go fast at this point. Here's where we're going to go through things. We're going to really take time to dive in, create our prompt, create our prime. When we have the prompt done, what we're going to do is we're going to test it. And so we're going to see how it writes our titles and our descriptions within the system. So once you have this, you test it. If you don't like it, you fix it. If you don't like it, you fix it. This is where, people that ask, how accurate is AI? AI is as accurate as you make it, right? It knows everything in the world. Except for logical reasoning. As I said, it can't think empathetically. It's not going to think logically, more or less. It's going to just be factual. So it's going to spit this right back into you. So here you see some more bonus examples where it says, write a collector targeted listing for this estate piece with all visible details, side condition, material, brand, color, and estimated weight. So that right there very well could be the tone that you're looking for. We'll now test it. So we'll add, see if I can get a photo in here. And this is going to spit out what we tell it to. Now, if you don't like it, you can modify this. You can go through it again to make sure that if this is too much, too long, tell it to simplify it, tell it to get it down. But you can see here the power of the priming. You can see now the power of the prompting. This is what it's going to do across the board. Every time you use that, it's going to write it in a similar manner. So if you hate this, fine, you can adjust it completely. Start over at priming again if you'd like. But remember, the free versions of GPT and all the other the AI programs, they are going to give you 2,000 words, and then they're going to start to hallucinate. So after that, it's going to be like a drunk savant. It's going to know genius level stuff, but it's going to make no sense. So you may want to invest the $20 for the 1 month that it takes you to really tighten down your priming and your prompting. And then once you get your prompting, like we did here, it's going to give you the ability to simply load it in and use it over and over and over. And whether you use it in GPT or Perplexity or whatever AI software you're using, it's going to describe your photos in a very focused, concise manner, and it's going to be uniform across the board. It's going to do it the way you tell it to, right? And so you can copy and paste this into your platform. You can do whatever you'd like with it. With Listernaut, if you're on this call, you plug that in, and that's a tone that you can pull from to describe all your photos, whether one by one, or you dump in 500 photos and say, write all 500 listings for me. It does it that way, right? And so if you look at, competitors in the AI cataloging space, and they want to, make it easier for you to throw in the picture, write the perfect description. None of us can do that, right? The only way you can get to a point that's perfect in your mind is to go through this exercise, to go through priming, to go through prompting, to get to the point where you come up with that AI prompt that's so unique to you and your needs, exactly what you want. Then you throw it in and you can use it over and over and over again. So if you take the time to go through this system and give it, a good, few hours to test it, play with it, test it, play with it. Think of it like Abraham Lincoln. Like I said earlier, you're sharpening your saw. And when you get that saw just so, now you can cut the tree down in 6 swings instead of 60. So if you think of it as an investment in increasing efficiency in your business, we'll say. So your team, once they're armed with this, it's take good pictures, which most of our catalogers take good pictures. That's what they pride themselves on. Where it gets, problematic is that human beings, not all of us are English experts, so we don't know the proper grammar that goes into writing a perfect listing. Not that this one is here, but it's pretty darn good if I do say so myself. But if you think about getting to the point where your team is now armed with this genius on their shoulder, right? What's this, right? Every one of us as owners of auction companies always get the what is this? What is this thing? And then you have to talk about it, and then they have to write it down, and then they have to remember it, and then they have to type it out in a way that is efficient for you. This replaces that concept. So, take great pictures, ask AI what it is, because AI has, as we know, it's read trillions of books. It knows more than any human being or collection of geniuses like Mensa in the world. There's no comparison. So it's not about how accurate is AI. It's about how accurate is the data that we push into AI to pull out the best product. So that being said, hopefully this has been beneficial. We will start covering more AI training from the basics on May 5th, from large language models on down. We focus at Listernaut on using Google Gemini. We focus on using customized tones, we call them, which is essentially a prompt. So the tone is what the prompt would spit out. What you're looking at here is the tone. So this is what we focus on, is having a customized tone that allows you to write your descriptions and your titles in a manner that is most effective to your exacting standards. And if someone else has it, great. You guys are way ahead of the curve by attending today. AI training is relatively new, and so what we've dived into is, we worked with some high-level folks in the AI space, and of course our focus is on the computer vision as it pertains to auctioneers and resellers. So if you take the time to sharpen the axe, you plug that into the system, whether it's our system or GPT or Perplexity or any other system out there, it will write your descriptions the way you want it to, and it will be more accurate than anyone ever could be. So that's really what we're trying to focus on. Is don't think of it as cheating. Don't think of it as taking your job. Think of it as sharpening an axe, because it's not going anywhere. And the folks that are early adopters that use it are going to be ahead of the pack. And the folks that ignore it and wait will undoubtedly be out of business in the next few years, because AI is coming. It's coming strong. It's allowing auctioneers across the country to catalog hundreds of items per hour. And so if you take that into consideration, cataloging can be as easy as taking good photographs. As long as you take good photographs, have good priming, good prompts, good tone, in our case, it allows you to spit out listings in seconds. So as fast as you can take pictures is as fast as you can now list. Using your prompts and using your tones wisely will allow you to always write it in the best format for your business each time. And we're happy we could help today, and we will send this video out to everyone. If you have any questions offline, we're happy to discuss those in a different format, but today was just a general overview training. We're going to share this video with everybody on the call, and thank you so much for joining. We'll send out more information on details to come about our May 5th training classes that start. And again, any questions, reach out to us at listernaut.com, and we are happy to help you, and thanks for joining today.